thelandofisrael.com and Israel National TV present Ari Abramowitz and Jeremy Gimpel. Live from the heart of Israel, it's Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem.
Shalom and welcome to Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem. Tonight is the first part of our election special. We've brought all of the religious Zionist candidates here live in Jerusalem so you can hear what ideas stand behind them, what ideologies there are, the differences between all of them. Why haven't they come together yet and ask the real questions that we all want to know the answers to? So first, I would like to introduce a mentor of mine. The truth is all of them are mentors, so I might say that for all of them, but this man is really a mentor. His name is Yaakov Ketzaleh Katz. He's one of the founding members of Beit El, one of the founding members of Gush Emunim. He's a war hero. He lost half of his leg in the Yom Kippur War under the command of Ariel Sharon. All of his children are in elite commando units as he served in the elite commando unit Shaked. He is a part of the media revolution in Israel as he is the founder of Arutz Sheva.
It is my merit and privilege to introduce another panelist we have tonight.
Another mentor we have tonight.
Another mentor, definitely a mentor. Jeremy and I had the honor of spending over 2 hours with this man in a hotel lobby just a few nights ago. That's over 2 hours. I was focused, I was concentrating. I have terrible ADD. Anyone else, my eyes would have glazed over, you know it.
I know it.
I would have had to put on my drool bib and I would have just stared at his beard. But not this guy. He has a unique ability to penetrate to the core issues, what it's really all about, and eloquently articulate the challenges that we're facing. He founded Zo Artseinu after the Oslo Accords. The Oslo Accords, the country was going crazy, and it was a grassroots organization that really shook the country up. They at one point, I think, let sheep loose in the country to show Israel we're going like sheep to the slaughter. Anyways, he was tried for sedition, and he could have definitely joined some little Knesset party at any point, but he was going for the gold. He wanted to join the Likud, which he saw is the Amcha, is the population, the main population of the country. That's where he wanted to join. And he's a guy that shows that you can be in politics and really have integrity as well. You may not get elected, but you can be in politics with integrity. No further ado, Moshe Feiglin.
Very good, right here. Our last guest that will be joining with us is Professor Rabbi Daniel Hershkowitz from the Mafdal Party. The truth is, when he first came out, I never heard about who he was. And I said, a professor, he's going to be an academic, he's going to be a little bit on the left, I don't know, who is this guy? But I met with him, and after spilling coffee all over myself and all over his car, the guy's an amazing guy. I really like him. And he is now positioned himself, after being a rabbi in Haifa, a professor in the Technion, to be a next Jewish leader. He's the head of the Beit Yehudi Party, and we'd like to welcome Professor Daniel Hershkowitz.
How are you?
So the first question is to Ketzaleh. Likud Leumi, representative of the religious Zionist community, Beit El, the Shtachim, founder of Beit El. Why should we, the Jewish people, vote for the Likud Leumi?
Okay, first of all, shalom to all of you. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's an unbelievable show, and I know that people see it all over the world, and I'm very happy that we, the International TV, Arutz Sheva, could help you to get to that stage, and it's unbelievable, and thank you very much for this beautiful show. Regarding the National Union, Likud Leumi, I think we represent everything that the people here in this all believe. First of all, only with us, we are sure that it will be no Palestinian state. Only with us, we are sure that it will be no disengagement. Only with us, we are sure that Hebron will not be giving in or giving up. Only with us, we are sure that good people like Feiglin will not be in 36 seats, maybe will be in the first or the second or the third. So, with the leader like Bibi Netanyahu, which I know him from the first moment when he started to run to be prime minister. He was the Israeli ambassador to the UN, and he called me up, and we ran together, and believe me, we made him what he is today. I can say that Bibi needs a lot of help, and Be'ezrat Hashem, it's a possibility. He in the last election had 12 seats. We, the National Union and the NRP, we had together 9 seats. We are not far away. Maybe it will be a revolution, and with the God help, with the big siyata d'ishmaya, we will have the 25 seats, and we will make and govern the government.
This is the question, because we sent out an email to everyone saying, what are the questions that's on everyone's mind? And this is the question. The Likud Leumi is now slated to get 5 to 8, Be'ezrat Hashem, 10 seats. But the bottom line is, political power the Likud Leumi doesn't have. Why should we vote for an ideological party rather than a party that can really be an influence in the country?
Because we are the core of the all values that we believe. By the way, I'm holding in my jacket a poll from the Globe that we have now 6 seats, which is very, very important. You can see it today. And with the God help, as I said, we are running for having more than 10 seats. And people who know me, that we made many, many revolutions in my life. In a time tour, I can take you to everything that we have done during the past 57 years that I'm alive. So we always did things that people didn't believe that we could do it. And Baruch Hashem, finally, things have done, like you spoke about Arutz Sheva. When I worked with Arik Sharon, we built over 60,000 units. I even got my wife, and I succeeded to marry her, and she was the most beautiful lady, and I was, almost cut to 2 pieces, and even that we have succeeded to do. So I'm telling you that we are running for a long way, and we are planning one day that we will have, as I was the first religious boy in the commando unit, and we have been the first people who bought sheep and broadcasted to Am Yisrael from ashore, from offshore, for 15 years with a lot of Mesirut Nefesh. And the way that we build the Yishuvim, I can assure you that one day Ketzaleh will be the prime minister, and we have to start working now.
There you go.
And one more thing that I want to say. By voting to the National Union, that according to our research, we can get to more than 10 seats, because in the last election we had 9 together with the NRP. Together, I think we can be over 10, between 10 to 15. We will have 15 Feiglins instead of having one that is not even being elected. It is 36 seats.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Professor Hershkowitz, the Beit Yehudi, under your leadership, why should we vote for the Mafdal?
I think that Ketzaleh has already given the arguments for that, right? He said, we are the only people that. Actually, you see the existence of the people of Israel in the land of Israel is based on 3 factors that are one. As Rabbi has said, the 3 that are not separable are Eretz Yisrael, Am Yisrael, and Torah Yisrael, the land of Israel, the people of Israel, and the Torah. These 3 cannot be separated, but also no one can exist without the other 2. And the only home that equally looks at all these 3 factors, but all of them, is the Jewish home, is the Beit Yehudi. You see, when the Second Temple was destroyed, if you ask a historian, why it was destroyed, the answer would be very simple. The Jews lost in the battlefield to the Romans, to the Roman Empire. However, the Gemara says it doesn't mention even the loss in the battlefield or the political loss. It says that it was destroyed because of sinat chinam. In other words, social problems. You see, in order to take care of this land, we have to build every settlement in every part of Eretz Yisrael. But not only that, you also have to strengthen the education in every part of Eretz Yisrael. And you have to strengthen the economy in every part of Eretz Yisrael. And you have to strengthen the society in every part of Eretz Yisrael. And that's exactly the platform of the Jewish home.
Thank you. Here's the question, though, Professor. You talk about sinat chinam, talk about the Jewish home. I don't understand, and I don't think anyone here understands, because it sounds like you and Ketzaleh are saying the same exact thing. Why wouldn't you run together?
Let's make it happen right here, right now.
Right?
Let's declare it on Tuesday Night Live. By UD, Ichud Leumi are running together.
With Feiglin at the head.
Actually, that's exactly a question I'm asking. You see, if you asked me 2 months ago whether I would ever find myself in politics, the answer would be definitely negative. I mean, I had no intention to be in politics. I mean, I got some offers in the past and I declined immediately. The only reason I agreed to come to Beit Yehudi, because as you probably all know, indeed, Ichud Leumi and Mafdal, or actually all these parties that form Ichud Leumi, they joined together and formed the Beit Yehudi. Beit Yehudi was a union of these parties. And that's exactly what attracted me to Beit Yehudi. Unfortunately, some people decided to split from Beit Yehudi. They're not here. Although they are in Ketzaleh's party, but I think to be fair with Ketzaleh, Ketzaleh was not part of this split. Namely, I think that time he was not in politics. Only later he was called upon his friends or the rabbis to head that party. But actually, it's a question that still by today I don't find the answer. Why they really split? Because we all share the same values, the same ideals, the same goal.
Right.
So that's the question that has remained unanswered for me, and I don't think that anyone here on the stage knows really the answer.
Okay.
Next question is for Moshe Feiglin. You are the founder and the president of Manhigut Yehudit, the Jewish Leadership Party. You probably could have been in the Knesset many, many times, as we mentioned, but you've joined the Likud. You are saying that you want to bring it to its original Jewish values with an infusion of Torah. Tell our audience, tell the world why we should vote for Likud and Moshe Feiglin.
Because we need Jewish leadership. And we're not going to get it from our own sectors. It is very simple. You want to lead the Jews, lead the Israelis, then go to them. Be part of them. You know, and the Likud today is the only cradle where Jewish leadership is being raised and developed in and through. And the fact that that my candidacy in Likud, even to just to the Knesset list, attracts so much attention and so much fightings, shows that this is the right place to be, because it's real. You see, I see in Ketzaleh's shirt a slogan that I like very much. Bli lefached klal. Do not be afraid at all. Then why to run back to our own backyard, playing with our own people who likes us, who agree with us, who looks like us, thinking that through our own sector we'll be able to lead Am Yisrael. It is not going to work this way. We should not be afraid of all to go to the Jews. They want it. They like it. They love it. We should vote Likud. We We should join Likud, we should lead Likud, and only through Likud we can lead the entire state of Israel.
Thank you. Moshe, I love what you're saying. I'm absorbing it. I'm understanding it. Internalizing it. It's getting me excited. Well, I want to ask you a question, but to ask this question, I want you first to watch this clip.
Before the disengagement, the retreat from Gush Katif, and expulsion of the Jewish communities there, politicians primarily on the left, but also on the right, repeatedly stated there would be no terrorist threat once Jews were gone. Amit Segal, Channel 2's political correspondent, searched through the video archives and presented these quotes, which we can now see with a much sharper perspective.
יש טענה שיהיה איום ובריחה, איום על יישובים בנגב. אני עוד לא שמעתי טענה מגוחכת כזאת.
ההתנתקות טובה לביטחון. הנה נעמו כאן אנשי הימין ודיברו על הקסאמים שיעופו מכאן ולשם. אני אומר לכם, מי שרוצה היום לחוס לא רק על שדרות אלא גם על אשקלון, על שתיהן, צריך להבין אם לא נצא מרצועת עזה בתוך 2, 3, אולי שנה, הטווח יגיע לאשקלון.
אני רוצה להאמין שכתוצאה מהפינוי והיציאה מעזה, הזרם הפלסטיני המתון יתחזק, הטרור יפחת.
אני משוכנע כי המהלך הכרחי ונכון. יש בו כדי להעניק יותר ביטחון לאזרחי ישראל ולהפחית את העומס המוטל על כוחות הביטחון. יש בו כדי לחלץ את המצב מקיפאונו ולפתוח פתח למציאות אחרת שתאפשר בבוא היום משא ומתן לדו-קיום.
אדוני היושב ראש, לפני שהגעתי היום לכנסת הבאתי את בני לתל השומר, הוא קיבל צו גיוס. אני צריך להודות לאריאל שרון מעל הבמה הזו על זה שהוא נותן לי ולרעייתי תקווה שהבן שלי לכשיתגייס לא יצטרך לשרת את עם ישראל ברצועת עזה.
Segal also made sure to remind the viewers how the Likud representatives, who are today coming out and saying, "We were right and we warned you," actually voted on the disengagement.
אני חושב שהתוכנית הזו, בסייגים האלה, ראויה לאמון. היא תוכנית לא קלה, אבל היא עשויה בהסתברות די גבוהה לשפר את מצבנו הגאו-אסטרטגי.
סילבן שלום, בעד. ישראל כץ, בעד. לימור לבנת, בעד. בנימין נתניהו, בעד.
חברי הכנסת!
You saw Israel Katz, Limor Livnat, Bibi Netanyahu, and all the rest of the Likudnikim voting for the disengagement, because to get you in, we have to vote 35 other Bibis before you. How can we vote for the Likud?
Well, Jeremy, I think that your vote will not get Netanyahu and all these guys you just mentioned into the Knesset. They are inside without your vote. Your vote will get number 26, 24, 25, and so on. Okay? Now, I brought with me the Ma'ariv newspaper from today, from this morning. בכירים בליכוד, ביבי מפסיד לנו מנדטים. That's the headline of Ma'ariv today. Bibi is trying to get less mandates. Bibi wants the mandates of the right to go to these two wonderful guys. And why? And why?
He's right.
You good guys, definitely. But he tells us exactly why. And listen to this. What one of the candidates to be a cabinet minister telling Shalom Yerushalmi in Ma'ariv. And he says the following. יש לי תחושה שהוא רוצה להיות ראש ממשלה, אבל עם ליכוד בלי המטורפין מהעשירייה הרביעית. Should I translate it? I have a feeling, said one of these future ministers of the Likud, and they're very angry at Netanyahu that he's doing that, because he so much don't want Feiglin in. Why? I have a feeling that Netanyahu wants to be prime minister, but with a small Likud, without these crazy guys from number 30 above. Includes Michi Ratzon, includes Ehud Yatom, and of course includes Feiglin, includes Boaz Ha'etzni, Sagiv Asulin, and so on. and I continue, הוא היה מעדיף את חברי הכנסת של קדימה, או את העבודה על פניהם. ביבי rather have קדימה Knesset members, or Labor Knesset members, than have his own Knesset members from these positions that I just mentioned. And let me tell you why. It is very simple. We just heard that with Ichud Leumi, there'll be no Palestinian state, no disengagement, and so on. And I wish it would be true, Ketzaleh. I like you very much, and I wish it would be true. But we all remember, where was the real political battle that Sharon, when he wanted to bring this terrible disengagement on us, where did he have to fight? With Ichud Leumi? Did he care about Ichud Leumi? With Mafdal? Did he care at all about Mafdal? It did not take 1 minute of his sweet sleep at night. All the political fights were inside Likud, inside Meretz Likud, against his so-called, what he called them, the 14 Mordim, rebellions, as you remember. The real reason why I'm in Likud is for Jewish leadership. Have no mistake. That's why I came to politics. That's why I'm in Likud. But for those who want to have a real political fight to guard Eretz Israel, the only effective place is also inside Likud.
Thank you.
This question is for you, Ketzaleh. Right now, more than ever in Jewish history, the Jewish people need to be inspired about our nation, about why we're here living in Israel. What are you going to do to inspire the Jewish people?
Okay, I will tell you what I did in my life. I was the first one. It's also an answer to Moshe Feiglin, that he's a very naive guy. And I want you to know that revolutions start from one, and finally getting and ending with 100,000. When I went to my commando unit, I'm talking about almost 40 years ago, we were 3 boys, only the first 3 religious boys that we went to my commando unit. Till then, they didn't get any guy from Net Yarmikes. Everybody was kibbutznik. And we made the revolution, and when I finished officer course and I finished officer, I was finished excellent. I was called to the Bima. We were 3 religious boys out of 150 candidates. So Raful asked me, when he put the ranks on my shoulders, and he says, tell me, from what kibbutz are you coming? From what meshek?
Excuse me.
And I said, I'm coming from Bnei Brak. And he said, Bnei Brak? I don't know where is Bnei Brak. He never heard the name Bnei Brak. Because in that time, the all officers and the all best soldiers in the commando units came from kibbutzim. But when I went to the graduation of my kids, which served in Sayeret Golani, Sayeret Matkal, Sayeret Shaldag, Sayeret Givati, and paratroopers, there were 50 or 60% of the boys with Net Yarmikes oranges. Revolution starts from one, and ending, and in the end we have 1,000, and finally we are running the country. We started with few, and today we are running the army. We started with few in Jerusalem, in Judea and Samaria, and today we have in the areas that have been liberated in 1967 over 650,000 Jews. We started with few when we are running the education, and today we will have over 10 seats, between 10 to 15, and we will run the country. Finally, we will have Prime Minister that he will be religious. Finally, we will have the defense minister that he will be from. Finally, we will run the country. We don't have to apologize. We don't have to feel that we are small. We are the best, and we are going to run the country because we have past, so we will have future. This is the question, the answer to your question. We have to be better in Limud Torah. We have to be the best in Tosfot. We have to be the best in the army. We have to be the best in Ityeshvut. We have to be the best in every area. And everybody will love us, and everybody will listen to us, and everybody will try to be like us. And we are on the way to do it. Trust me, join me, and we will do it.
I just want a quick question, a follow-up question that I'm very interested about. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your military experience and your war wound?
Okay. I was serving as an officer in a commando unit which called Sayeret Shaked. And I was served under Arik Sharon. I was 4 years in the army. And Arik Sharon was my commander. I'm not allowed to say anything bad about Arik Sharon because he saved my life. Over 25 years, I was his main consultant. In the years 1990, 1992, I was his deputy minister and the assistance of building. I don't know how you call it, Yeshvut, but settling, the assistance of settling. Together with Arik Sharon, we did many, many great things. He always used to tell me, Ketzaleh, I don't understand why you love me so much, but you don't believe me even for one word that I say. I was in the army in the unit that always was in the front, Sayeret Shaked, and in the war in 1973, we were 12 officers that always, we were the small commando unit of Arik Sharon that he sent us to do the all very special work during the war till the 8 days, which I was wounded. It was a fight between us 12 officers against 80 Egyptian commando units, which landed with 3 helicopters next to the Gesher HaGlilim, next to the bridge. The day after, we crossed the tunnel with that. We found them, we killed all of them, but in that fight, I was very badly wounded. He sent an helicopter to save me, and the pilot got a medal. And I was I was taken to the Refidim hospital, almost dead, and I was cut to 2 pieces. My driver that was an officer, Afrik, was killed, and my other officer that stood behind me, one of my soldiers, Eitan, also was killed, and I was cut for 2 pieces. And the God wanted me to be maybe one day and to do even more things for Klal Yisrael, and he saved me. And Baruch Hashem, I see so many good people over here, and you'll help me to do it even better. And Bezrat Hashem, in the future time, we'll make it together, and we will run the country as we did good things before. Together, we will make it. Thank you.
Professor Hershkowitz, this is the question for you now. You said before, Tarat Israel, Eretz Israel, we can't give up any settlements. We are the Jewish people. And it seems, though, that we were always right. We kept on saying, don't do a disengagement. There's going to be Kassamim on Ashkelon. They said, follow our way because we're going to be right. And now, without a doubt, the whole world sees that we were right. How do you explain, then, that the Likud Leumi and the Mafdal together haven't just not grown? We've taken over the army. We've taken over leadership. But in politics, for some reason, we've gotten smaller. How do you explain that?
Well, for 2 reasons. And I think that these two reasons were presented by the 2 other people here. One of them is the mistake that we keep doing every 4 years, because elections in Israel, I think that since 77 takes every 2 or 3 years. But, the British historian Lilhard wrote a small book about why don't we learn from history. And somehow, many of my friends, good friends, people like Moshe Feiglin, refuse to learn from history. Refuse to learn from the history. You see, every 2 or 3 years, the Likud spits at our face. They use us as one-time dishes, use and throw afterwards. Just before the elections, they call upon the team Leumi, or the team people, and come and vote for us. And people are tempted to think the way Moshe thinks, that the way to change the world, the way to change the leadership in Israel is through the Likud, or through that party that, after all, is not based on Jewish values, on the values of Eretz Israel, Torat Israel, and Am Israel, but rather pragmatic political views. And then what happens? The people in Yamit voted in 77 for Begin, and they were expelled from their homes. The people, the from people who voted for Bibi got the Hebron agreements in Y, okay? The people who voted for Sharon, whose opinions were sometime in the past even more to the right than Bibi's, okay? You know that in Gush Katif, 100% of the people, of the votes went for Sharon. I'm told by my colleague there that in the shul there, in the synagogues, they blessed Shechianu, B'Shem u'B'Malchut. They blessed Shechianu when Sharon was elected. And they were kicked out of their homes. Different people keep voting for Likud, the Ministry of Education that damaged the values, that cut all the budgets to the religious Zionist education was in the days of Limor Livnat, okay? So every time before the elections, many of us attempted to vote for the Likud. And it won't take more than a day or two after the elections that we are kept away. By the way, the way they do it to Moshe every time, okay? So this is one of the reasons that we can't join our forces together, because many people still think like Moshe, and again, next time it will happen the same. Moshe, you will find yourself maybe next time in the 37th position and the 40th position and so on, okay? You keep going up, right? Okay? Now, this is one mistake. The other mistake is, indeed, a very sectorial thinking, think that we do have, we should adopt, or we should employ a very narrow view of our needs. You see, I want to keep the whole of Eretz Israel, okay? Now, this, you see, the point is, holding Eretz Israel, now, there is a big threat on that. There is a big threat. But the threat is not only the fact that they destroyed Chomesh, or they freeze all the buildings in Yesha, which is unheard of in a Jewish state. This is a threat, but there is even a bigger threat. 3 weeks ago, I visited in Modi'in, and I was told that, when they visited in a non-religious high school there, they asked the student there, what is Shema Israel? You mentioned before the Shema Israel in Obama's inauguration. They asked the students, what is Shema Israel? The most common answer they got was that Shema Israel is a song of Sarit Hadad, a popular, famous Israeli singer. Now, this is a correct answer. By the way, I told, there was a rabbi's conference a week ago, and Rabbi Druckmann, very well-known scholar, religious Zionist scholar, he asked me, very innocently, what is Sarit Hadad? I must say that I told him, Rabbi Druckmann, I'm shocked. Rabbi Druckmann doesn't know what Shema Israel is, right? But anyhow, this is not reason, it's not reason to laugh. If the students in Modi'in, and Modi'in is one of the cities that has one of the better education systems. If the students in Modi'in do not know what Shema Israel is, then they don't know what we are looking for in Hebron, and what in Shechem, and what in Yerushalayim, and not even in Tel Aviv and Haifa. And this is even a bigger threat. Because you see, the next generation of leaders of Likud Party will come from Modi'in. And if the prime minister will come from Modi'in and he'll learn the same high school, and by the way, you would find the same phenomenon in every city in Israel. And if we are led by people that are not aware of our basic values, of the fact that we live in our homeland, that this land, that every piece of this land belongs to the Jewish people and only to the Jewish people, if they do not know it, then we won't be able to hold it. So our only way is to employ a very wide view of what is needed. And I say education all over. Social problems all over. economy all over, and of course, building all over. And this is for that. It's not enough to go on a very narrow and very narrow narrative and very narrow target, but rather widen our goals. And as I said, that was the idea of forming the Beit Yehudi. And I very much hope that very soon, all three of us, with all our followers, will find ourselves in one big Beit Yehudi.
Professor, as a quick question, just to follow this, because you're talking about not being narrow and to reach out to the and to go to Modi'in and to go to Sderot and teach people about Judaism. And that's what the Beit Yehudi was supposed to be. But I look at Moshe Feiglin, and he's a part of the Likud. That's the Am. I look at Ketzaleh, and at least he has Aryeh Eldad, who is at least a representative of the Am. I look at your party, and it's like a party of the monopoly men. All of you guys have mustaches. All you guys have kippahs. All of you guys look exactly the same, talk the same. Thank God you guys have a woman on the thing, so you're not all with mustaches. How can you then say that you're going out to the Am, where it seems to me that you're the most narrow party in existence?
Yes, actually, you're so right. But in fact, let me correct you. If you, there was a short film, on the YouTube, and you can notice there that we haven't managed to convince Zvulun Orlev also to have a mustache, right? So it's not true that we all have mustache. You see, now that's true. Now, our list of candidates, due to to that split, unexpected split, that occurred just 48 hours before the time to present the list, changed the whole system, and we didn't have enough time to rearrange our list. But, for me, personally, the story doesn't end at the election stage. Actually, it starts then. Because I view the Beit Yehudi as a popular movement that should start from everywhere in Israel, and it's a home for everybody, not only from people. Not only, I always say, that there is kippot srugot, there is kippot shchurot, and there is kippot shkufot, okay? Namely, people who also do not have yarmulkes.
An invisible yarmulke.
Invisible, right. They all are not only welcome, they are all encouraged to take a very active part in building this Beit Yehudi.
Very good.
Moshe, you say that the reason that Bibi hates you so much is that you're the greatest threat to him. You actually want to lead the country, you say. What would your first week in office look like?
That is a very important question. And I'm very proud that you're asking me this question, because with all honesty, I think I'm the only person out of the three guys, wonderful people over here, that this question is relevant for him. Not because I'm any better than these two guys. I don't think that I'm better than Ketzaleh or better than Professor Hershkowitz. I'm simply the only guy in the right ball game of leadership. And as I explained, Professor Hershkowitz is not even trying to say he's planning to lead the nation. Ketzaleh saying it, but his mouth going in the right direction and his legs going to the other direction. At 120, you should be still standing on your 2 feet and run around and do your good things. Three? Yeah, that's right. Well, all your 3 legs going in the opposite direction of leadership towards your sector. So I'm the only guy, unfortunately, here in the Israeli politics that this question is relevant to him. And I will answer your question, but before I answer your question, I have to tell Professor Hershkowitz something. You know, Daniel, I heard what you said about Netanyahu and about Limor Livnat, and you know something? You're right. And I know even worse things about them, okay? I can add something.
You have convinced me not to vote for Likud.
Okay. But after I heard you, I came to conclusion that I'm sure now that if you will get in, and according to the polls, you're not passing still the line of Achuz HaChasima, as they call it, but assuming you're getting in, you will never join a coalition with Netanyahu, right? You will only go with Tzipi Livni or with Ehud Barak. That's what I understand, because Bibi's terrible. For sure, Ketzaleh will never go with Netanyahu because he's so terrible. You know what's the difference between the Bait and the Ichud and what I represent over here? The difference is, when you're voting to these two options, you're going to get Likud anyhow. By voting to Ketzaleh or voting to Professor Hershkowitz, you're actually voting Bibi. They're not going to go with anybody else, right? Are you going to go with Tzipi Livni?
Maybe Lieberman.
Maybe Lieberman? You're not. All you're talking about is we
maybe
going to go
maybe we will make
with
it.
Netanyahu. So what's the difference between our all
You're not
three of
going
us?
Hang on, one second. I got to protect Moshe. He didn't interrupt you guys. It's not fair for you to... He's bringing up very good points, and everyone here is getting all excited.
So what is the difference?
Only fair.
What is the difference? That by voting Likud and getting me and these two loyal guys that Bibi so much afraid of getting in his list, you're not voting Likud. You're voting for those who can really guard Netanyahu from within and not being irrelevant from outside. Now to your question. I remember when I first said I'm going to join Likud and run to be the head of the Likud. That was almost 10 years ago. And that was scary. You know, when I decided, when I said in public, tomorrow morning we're going to block traffic all over Israel, no one will be able to move, I still remember how all the Shmuel Saket is over here, and many people who joined us with Zohar Tzenu, I remember how everybody laughed at us and said, what? These guys, no one knows them from Karnei Shomron, Americans from Karnei Shomron, they saying they're going to block the entire nation. Don't worry about it. Maybe they'll block the entrance to Neve Aliza. And when I went to sleep that night, I was a little bit afraid. Maybe tomorrow, people will not go out as we're calling them to, and I'll become a joke. Okay? So I was a little bit afraid of becoming a joke, but I said to myself, fine, maximum, they'll laugh at me. I have to do what I have to do. The night before I declared I'm going to be the prime minister of Israel, and that's why I'm joining Likud and going to run to become the head of Likud, I afraid much more, because now everybody's going to say, okay, he thinks he's Napoleon. Okay? That was much more scary. Well, you know something? No one is laughing. Not only that no one is laughing, the reason why we're all sitting here tonight, the reason why Ketzaleh, my dear friend Ketzaleh, is talking about leadership is because of that night 10 years ago. We managed to get this understanding, this conscience of the need of Jewish leadership to the people of Israel, to the entire nation. It all happened because of that. And we'll get there. And we'll get there because there's no other chance to Israel to survive and flourish without leadership that worship God. Leadership that understand that our goal is letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai. Not just to exist, somehow have a regi'ah in front of the Hamas. We have a goal to the entire nation to fix the world in the kingdom of God. That's the reason why we need the state of Israel altogether. That's the reason why we exist as Jews. That's why we need Jewish leadership. And without that, we don't have the right to be here at all. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to the Temple Mount. This is the first thing I'm going to do.
All right. Stay tuned next week for the part 2 of this election special. You're going to love it. It's all happening right here. Professor Hershkowitz, Moshe Feiglin, and Ketzaleh, all the religious Zionist parties together. Stay tuned. Tonight, and for the rest of the month, we have the pleasure and the joy of the experience of listening to these fine young men here. They have brought the sparks of holiness from American rock and roll, brought it to the Holy Land, and all of a sudden, a new creation of Judaism, rock and roll, spirituality, and amazement. Please, a warm round of applause for my best friends from high school. Anything that I am today is because of these boys right here. Remedy.
But the open road brings you an open mind. And all the blurry visions fade to send you up on your way. Whoa, whoa, it's a long road. Keep on pushing. Whoa, whoa, it's a long road. Keep on pushing. Whoa, whoa. Keep on